I'm here on the Florida Southern College campus. I just finished a roll of film in this. I had a few shots left. So I finished up the roll, took a few quick snaps. I don't know what film was in here. Cinestill 400D. Could have used that a little better. I have a shot right here that would have been a nice shot on Cinestill. Oh well, I'm gonna load up a new roll and get to shooting. Wanted to come out here. This is actually where I graduated from college. It's a beautiful campus and has a large collection of Frank Lloyd Wright architecture, which I'm actually standing under right now. Frank Lloyd Wright, if you don't know, is a pretty famous American architect, active in the mid-century. And yeah, Florida Southern College here in Lakeland has like the largest single site collection of Frank Lloyd Wright architecture. So it's a really cool place. The campus, Frank Lloyd Wright's name for the campus is Child of the Sun. It's these collection of buildings that are all this beautiful kind of sandstone color, really awesome geometry. Like with all his work, is awesome geometry. And wanted to come out and capture some of that. So I have got my Leica M2, and I'm shooting a 7 Artisans 50mm 1.1, which I'm not sure I'm gonna need a 1.1 on this beautiful sunny day, but I kind of just like the way the combo looks. And I've got Harman Phoenix loaded in here. That is a film that I have shot once before, and the photos I got were strange. They were okay. They were not my favorite, but I want to give it another shot and see. I'm going to be sticking mainly to the Frank Lloyd Wright architecture sections. I want to come back out and do the more modern construction buildings that they have. They have a few newer buildings that they've put up since I was a student here that look incredible. And I want to come out and do some photography around them at some point, but for today, I'm just gonna stick with the Frank Lloyd Wright buildings. These are buildings that I've shot a lot before. Like I said, I'm trying Harman Phoenix, which doesn't handle high contrast well. And it's a pretty bright day. So I'm gonna have to take my time with these shots. Something that I need to remember to do, that I forget to do a lot, is to bracket shots. Basically try to get the same scene at a variety of exposures so you have a better chance of getting an exposure that works right for that scene. That's important to do in scenes with tricky lighting. And for me, that includes high contrast scenes where there's deep shadows and really bright sun, which is a very apt description for this campus. It's got a lot of shade, it's got a lot of spots that are in full sun. And the buildings are like light colored, reflect a lot of that sunlight. So this building here is one that I like. I haven't spent a lot of time looking at different angles and ways to capture it. I'm gonna drop down my aperture, open it up a bit. We'll see. There is so much geometry happening here on this campus. Frank Lloyd Wright's buildings are very angular. Got a lot of angles, a lot of detail, a lot of geometric shapes. This campus has so much variety of his style. This here is the water dome. It's nice that it's on today. We are metering for these highlights. Might lose some shadow detail, but there's barely any shadow in this shot, so I'll stop down to maybe what could be f11. Can't really tell. This aperture ring doesn't have clicks, so that makes it interesting, but I meter kind of off feel anyway. I have not been pulling out a light meter for these shots, so we will see what happens. All right, I'm gonna head back down this way over to the Annie Pfeiffer and Danforth chapels. Might stop here at this building. The Hollis room. This used to be like the old library, I believe. But you can see what I'm talking about, where you got extremely bright highlights and what could be some really deep shadows. They're not too bad right now. I think there's a lot of light bouncing around here. And if you look inside here, got this really cool campus plan that is awesome. So I'm wondering if there's a way to capture that. Open it up a little bit. Yeah, open it up quite a bit. We're gonna go for shadow retention in this one. We'll stop it down and go for highlight retention. I was looking up before I came out today. The kind of recommended way to expose Harman Phoenix, and it was talking about exposing for the midtones to try to retain the shadows and the highlights, which makes sense. It doesn't have a wide latitude. Highlights can get really blown out. Shadows can get muddy and lost. Really easy with this film. I'm gonna step back a little bit. Like I mentioned before, I just like the look of the setup. It's pretty impractical. It's large, a large lens on an in-body. And if I'm not really getting that, if I'm not needing the extra like stop of light for that 1.1 lens, it really doesn't make sense to carry it around. Looks like they're doing some remodeling in there. Painting maybe. We've got chairs taped over. See the Ferris wheel in the background over there? Might try to go for this. See what I can get. I wasn't really planning on shooting interiors today. But with the reflections, So I'm walking around here. I'm shooting on a 50. The last couple times I came out to Florida Southern, I had been shooting like a 28 equivalent. And that is kind of my instinct with this place, is to shoot wide, capture all these interesting angles. But what I'm challenging myself to do is to shoot a little tighter. Try to use the compression of the 50 to my advantage to create some depth, some layers. And that's what I'm seeing right here, is depth and layers. So I'm gonna try to grab this. Another high contrast scene on this film that I'm not sure can handle it, but we'll see. I'm gonna do like a half stop on the shutter speed. We're gonna, where are we? There we go. This is just too good to pass up. Taking at least a couple shots. I'm gonna head down here. There's a few spots around here, but I want to try to get photos that I haven't gotten before. We'll see. I mean, there are some photos that are just too hard to pass up. This is one of them. Framing. I don't know if you can see the way this opens up to reveal the Annie Pfeiffer Chapel and frame it. That's something I may need a wider lens for, but what I can get is this. We'll see, framing this sort of stuff on a rangefinder is kind of a little funny. Because you're always a little bit offset, so you're looking through a window, which can kind of interfere with like doing architecture photography if you want to line everything up perfectly. We're down here under the Polk Science Building. More high contrast scenes for you. That spot is nice when the lighting is right, but the lighting is not right now. But what I do like is this. We're gonna blow out the sky, I think, but we're gonna get that kind of bounce light underneath, maybe, to light up real nice. I don't know if you can see in there, it's like offices. That's a tricky shot. I've tried to take it before and failed at getting a decent image. We'll see what happens this time with film that I don't know how to shoot. All right, we're coming around the other side of the Polk County Science Building. I like that shot. This building has a lot of great, like, repetitive patterns something that is really cool about this campus is that it feels like every building can be framed up with the other buildings. Like these esplanades, the covered walkways that connect the buildings. They provide these like leading lines and can be used as framing devices for these buildings. But I might try this one unframed. I'm gonna open it up just a bit because that's a lot of shadow and I want to keep the shadow. We're going to come back the way we came. So I am going to head over to Ordway now. We're coming up to Ordway. It was originally designed to be a cafeteria and classrooms. So it's got this big hall here, and then you've got these classrooms throughout here. This place has a nice kind of central courtyard. And then down at the end, there is a theater in the round, which is basically a circular theater with the stage in the center. I have a hard time resisting these shots here. More high contrast scenes, of course. I'm really interested to see how this film handles the high contrast. I am, I believe, shooting for the midtones. I haven't pulled out my meter once today, so we'll see how this comes out. We're in basically full sun. I'm just going off the sunny 16 rule. See, I might be able to get something interesting here. Let's see what comes of that. There's a lot of interesting angles here to try to shoot, but it is difficult to find a composition that is clean and not busy. This is one where it is not easy to figure out what to include, what to cut off, where to draw that line. I'm basically back in this corner because I don't have a wide angle lens and I'm trying to shoot like I'm shooting a wide angle lens. But the benefit here But I think there is a benefit here to shooting the 50 because I'm able to get some compression of the scene that wide angle just wouldn't allow for. A 50 is still not a long lens by any stretch of the imagination. It's what's considered normal. I think for me, my standard has typically been a 35. It's a little wider, and for shooting like family and just kind of casual street documentary that I do, the 35 works. There's some people taking photos over there. I guess today is coming up to graduation, so there's a lot of people doing like senior photos here on campus today. I'm just gonna try to avoid interfering with their shot for right now. And I did want to come down here and check out this angle, see the lighting. Kinda like that. It's in the shade. Probably not gonna bracket this shot. Just gonna go for it and see what happens. Here is one of those scenes that I wonder if it's too busy, but with the compression of the 50mm lens, I can kind of create an interesting frame. I've only got a couple shots left, I think, and then we'll probably call it a day. There's one shot that I want to get that I've taken 100 times, maybe not literally, but it is out here by the administration building. So we're gonna walk back out here, back around the water dome, take a last look at the campus before we get our final shots and head out. These videos are so much fun to make. So if you enjoy them, let me know. I want to keep making them. I don't know. I've been putting them out at a pretty high rate so far. That's just kind of been luck. I've had some time on the weekends to get out make these and then also edit them. Don't do a ton of editing, I just kind of cut things together, but it takes time. I've been lucky to have that time for the last few weeks, but I don't know that it's going to continue at this rate. All right, we're back over here, back where we started. Right back in here is just beautiful with the greenery under the esplanades, with the sunlight that comes through at an angle. It's honestly it's just too good to pass up. So I'm always shooting this area. You gotta decide what to meter this at. I'm definitely gonna bracket this one. All right, and that is the end of the roll. I'm happy with the scenes that I shot. I don't know how it's gonna turn out. This film is tricky. Like I said, I've shot it before, and it was weird. That's probably gonna be it for this video. Thanks for coming along. See ya.